Ever wondered how much income you need to buy a house like this, or this? Well, in this video, you're going to learn how much house you can get based on your income, whether you rent, buy, or invest in property. And this is all based on today's high interest rates, sky-high house prices, and the bank's current tough lending rules. But us Kiwis, we aren't all the same. So we're going to look at 3 different scenarios based on whether you have a low, medium, or even a high income. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ed, an economist here at Opes Partners, and whenever I'm talking about property on TV, the radio, or writing for New Zealand's national newspapers, people always want to know, how much house can I actually afford? Let's start with renting. Picture this. You're scrolling through Trade Me or OneRoof, you see this home and it rents for $500 a week. So, how do you know if you can afford it? One classic personal finance rule is to not spend more than 30% of your income on rent, and we're talking before tax. So $500 a week, that's 26 grand per year, and that means you'd need to earn $86,000 a year following that rule to afford this property. So you need to be earning 43 grand a year each for a couple, which is around the full-time minimum wage. So this house would be considered affordable for our lower income scenario of a couple earning 90 grand a year. And in fact, they could actually spend up to $520 a week on rent under this rule. That could get you a basic 2-bedroom house with ocean views up in Northland, but maybe only a 1-bedroom unit in Auckland, our largest city. Now, if you were earning the average household income in New Zealand, you're making $132,500 a year as a couple. Now, if that's you, you can spend $764 a week on rent, and it's still considered affordable under that 30% rule. That gets you a massive 5-bedroom place in Invercargill or a decent 3-bedroom place in Lower Hutt. Now, if you're in the higher income scenario, you're earning 200 grand a year as a household, you could actually spend $1,150 a week on rent, and that would get you this awesome house with a pool and sea views in Napier. Now, as we move from renting to buying to investing, the numbers you use to figure out how much house you can get, well, they get a bit harder. For example, you'll sometimes hear people talk about the 28% or the 36% rule when it comes to trying to figure out how much mortgage you can actually get approved by the bank. But the 28% and 36% rule, those are more American. They don't really apply in New Zealand because our banks follow different lending rules. A better guide in New Zealand for first home buyers is 5 to 6 times your pre-tax income. At the moment, interest rates are really high, so go more with the conservative 5 times your income, and as interest rates come down, it will get closer to that 6 times figure. So let's take our low income household earning 90 grand a year. They should be able to afford a mortgage of $450K while interest rates are high. Add in your 20% deposit, and they can probably afford a house worth $560K. Now, that won't get you much again in Auckland, but head down to Christchurch and you can still get a 3 or 4 bedroom house in that range. Just remember that the numbers we're talking here, they're just ballparks. If you want an exact number, make sure you go talk to a mortgage broker, and if you're looking for a good one, you might like to check out my team at Opes Mortgages. Now, let's get back to the medium income household earning $132.5K per year. Based on their ability to borrow 5 to 6 times of their income, they might be able to afford a house between $820K and up to $990K, almost $1 million. Though with today's interest rates, it's safer to say that it's closer to that $820K scenario. Now, that'll get you a nice house in Auckland, and in Dunedin, it will get you this beauty. Now, let's talk about our high income household. They might be able to afford a mortgage between $1 and $1.2 million, and that means they can buy a house worth $1.25 and up to $1.5 million. That'd get you this big house in Wellington. And some first home buyers will look at this and be in the comments section saying, so you're telling me that I need to earn $200K to get the house that I really want? And the answer is, no, that's not the case. Often first home buyers look at their dream house and get a bit down on themselves. They think, oh, I'm never going to be able to buy my dream home. Look, don't get down if that's you. Your first home isn't your forever home because your first house is probably going to be cheaper. It won't be the house of your dreams, but 2 things will happen over time. First, you'll pay your mortgage down and your house will also likely go up in value. At some point, you can sell and upgrade to a bigger home. And when you do sell, you'll have a bigger deposit and probably have a higher income by that point. And that's how you gradually get into your dream home as you get your first foot on the property ladder and then eventually start climbing. And if you'd like to see more of these videos that are about what can I actually afford, do me a quick favor and hit the like button. That's how I know if these are the types of videos you actually want to see more of, and honestly, it just really helps out the YouTube algorithm. So if you wouldn't mind, thank you so much, or subscribing, that helps too. I'm really trying to grow the channel to 20,000 subscribers. And if you do already subscribe, you'll know that this channel is all about property investing. And when it comes to investing, to truly answer that question, how much housing can I buy? We've got to look to the future and ask, how many investment properties can you buy over the next, let's call it 15 years? Now, let's say our 3 households, they've moved from renting and they now all own their own homes. We're in the future, so let's say they've owned those houses for a while, and we're going to use the average numbers in New Zealand. So all of their houses are worth $770,000 and they've got the average mortgage of $309K. And I'm just keeping this equal to show you the difference that income makes. So our low income household earning 90 grand a year, unless they really pay off their debt quick, or they get some big pay rises, maybe they switch jobs, they probably can't afford to buy any investment properties even over the next 15 years. And that's important to say because not everybody can buy investment properties. And typically property investors do have higher incomes because you're taking on more and more debt. Our middle income household, the ones earning 132.5 grand per year, if they go really hard and everything goes to plan, they might be able to buy 2 to 3 investment properties over the next 15 years. And that's focusing on entry-level investment properties like this 2-bedroom townhouse in Christchurch that costs around $550,000. And just before we get to the high income household, you probably want to know, how are these numbers calculated? Well, in this video, I talk about how I calculate those numbers and even how I hired a top 20 in the world Excel expert, because it turns out that Excel is now my favorite esport. And I spent 8 grand building a spreadsheet to forecast how many properties that you can buy. So to see how all of these calculations work, click the video up here. And using those calculations, it looks like our high income couple earning $200,000 a year, they could potentially buy up to 6 investment properties over the next 15 years if they focus on those cheaper entry-level properties, or up to 3 investment properties if they focus on more expensive houses like these ones in Rolleston, which is a town in Canterbury. And if you want to use this spreadsheet to see how many properties you can buy, you can always book a free meeting with one of my financial advisors at opespartners.co.nz. We help regular Kiwis grow their wealth through new build investment properties.